Billionaire versus millionaire, the scary difference in mind. Said, let me tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Most people think the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is just money. It's not, it's mindset. Imagine standing at the edge of a city just before sunrise when everything is quiet but full of potential. From a distance, every building looks the same. Every light blends into one glow. That's how most people see wealth. They think a millionaire and a billionaire exist on the same level, just separated by a few extra zeros. But what you're about to hear will challenge that illusion completely. This isn't a story about money. It's a story about thinking, about perspective, about the invisible line that separates those who grow from those who dominate. Because the truth is, the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is not financial, it's psychological. It's how they see the world, how they approach problems, and how far they're willing to stretch their imagination. And once you understand this, you can never unsee it. You'll start noticing why some people plateau while others expand endlessly. So, as we move forward, don't just listen to the words, question your own thinking, because this isn't about them. It's about you and how big you're truly willing to think. Most people believe wealth is about accumulation, about stacking money until you feel safe. That's the millionaire mindset. It seeks comfort, stability, and protection. There's nothing wrong with it, but it has a ceiling. A billionaire, however, doesn't think in terms of safety. They think in terms of expansion. They don't ask, is this enough? They ask, how far can this go? While one builds walls to protect what they have, the other builds bridges to multiply what's possible. This difference is subtle, but it changes everything, because when your focus is security, your decisions become cautious. But when your focus is scale, your decisions become bold. You stop asking how to survive, and you start asking how to dominate. And that shift, from protecting to expanding, is where ordinary growth ends and extraordinary impact begins. Listen closely to the questions you ask yourself every day. They shape your future more than your actions. A millionaire wakes up thinking, how can I earn more today? It's a practical question, grounded in effort and output. But a billionaire asks something entirely different. How can I build something that earns without me? That question unlocks a completely different world. It forces you to think beyond yourself, beyond your time, beyond your physical limits. It pushes you towards systems, automation, and leverage. And here's the truth. Your life will always reflect the level of questions you ask. If your questions are small, your results will be small. If your questions challenge the impossible, your results begin to stretch into that space. So don't underestimate this shift. It's not just a better question. It's a completely different way of thinking. Time is the one resource nobody can buy more of, yet most people spend their lives trading it. Millionaires often exchange time for value, whether through businesses, skills, or investments that still require attention. They work smarter, yes, but they still work. Billionaires, on the other hand, refuse to stay trapped in that exchange. They build systems that operate independently of their presence. They design structures that generate value continuously, whether they're involved or not. This is leverage at its highest level. It's the difference between pushing a car and building an engine. One requires constant effort, the other creates motion on its own, and once you understand this, you begin to see time differently. Harder, rocket, and UCOM, to STORTSUCC, yes, Festus, how F to UL. That's where true freedom begins. A millionaire learns the rules of the game and tries to win within them. They study, they optimize, they compete, and sometimes they succeed. But a billionaire looks at the same game and asks, why am I playing this at all? Instead of competing, they redesign the board. They create new rules, new markets, new ways of thinking that others haven't even considered yet. This is why they don't just win, they redefine what winning means. Because when you change the game, you eliminate competition. And when you eliminate competition, you create dominance. This requires courage, creativity, and a willingness to step into uncertainty. But it also creates opportunities that don't exist for those who stay within the lines. So the question becomes, are you trying to win the game, or are you ready to change it? Risk is often seen as something to avoid, something dangerous and unpredictable. Millionaires tend to minimize it. They calculate carefully, diversify their investments, and protect what they've built. But billionaires see risk differently. To them, risk is not the enemy, it's a tool. They don't take reckless chances, but they're willing to make bold moves when the potential justifies it. They understand that avoiding risk often means avoiding growth, and growth is the only path to extraordinary success. So instead of asking what could go wrong, they ask what could go incredibly right. This shift doesn't remove fear, but it changes how you respond to it. You stop running from uncertainty and you start using it as a stepping stone, and that's where breakthroughs happen. A millionaire builds multiple streams of income. It's smart, effective, and powerful. But a billionaire goes further. They build ecosystems, interconnected structures where every piece supports and amplifies the others. It's not just about making money in different ways. It's about creating a network where value flows continuously. One business feeds another, one idea strengthens the next, and over time, this ecosystem becomes self-sustaining. It grows stronger, more resilient, and more dominant, because when everything is connected, growth is no longer linear, it becomes exponential. And that's the real difference. It's not about doing more. It's about building something where everything works together, creating momentum that's impossible to stop. How do you measure success? For many, it's numbers, income, profit, net worth. These are clear, tangible, and easy to track. That's the millionaire perspective, but a billionaire looks beyond numbers. They measure impact. How many lives have they changed? How many industries have they transformed? How deeply have they influenced the future? Because when your focus shifts to impact, your actions become larger than yourself. You stop chasing money and you start creating value at scale, and ironically, that's when money follows in ways you never imagined. Because impact multiplies, it spreads, it grows beyond your control, and that's what makes it so powerful. It's not just success, it's significance. At the end of all this, one truth remains: small thinking creates small outcomes. It's your vision, your decisions, and ultimately your life. Big thinking, on the other hand, expands everything. It pushes you beyond comfort, beyond fear, beyond what feels realistic. And yes, it's uncomfortable. It's uncertain, but it's also where possibility lives. So don't aim for comfort. Don't settle for what feels safe. Aim for scale. Aim for something so big it forces you to grow into it. Because the size of your thinking will always determine the size of your results. And the moment you decide to think bigger, everything begins to change. As you walk away from this, remember one thing. You don't need permission to think bigger. You don't need validation to aim higher. The only thing standing between where you are and where you could be is the size of your vision. So challenge yourself, stretch your thinking, refuse to stay small in a world that rewards expansion. Because comfort is easy, but growth is powerful, and if you're willing to embrace that, to step into something larger than yourself, then you're no longer just building a life. You're building a legacy, and legacy is where true greatness begins. In short, we summarize this as *** billionaire versus millionaire. The scary difference in mindset ***. Let me tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Most people think the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is just money. It's not, it's mindset. A millionaire thinks in terms of **security**. A billionaire thinks in terms of *scale**. A millionaire asks, how can I make more money? A billionaire asks, how can I build something that makes money without me? That's where the gap begins and where it becomes terrifying. Because a millionaire is still trading something, time, effort, expertise, but a billionaire, they've escaped the trade. They don't chase money, they build systems that pull money toward them, and here's the scary part, a millionaire often plays to asterisk win asterisk. A billionaire plays to asterisk change the game entirely asterisk. Millionaires focus on opportunity. Billionaires focus on asterisk inevitability asterisk. They don't ask, will this work? They ask, how do I make this unavoidable? That's power, let's go deeper. A millionaire protects what they have. They diversify, they save, they minimize risk. A billionaire. They embrace calculated risk like oxygen because they understand something most people never do. Playing it safe will never make you unstoppable. Millionaires think about income streams. Billionaires think about ecosystems. One builds a business. The other builds a world where their business becomes essential. And here's where it gets even more intense. A millionaire measures success in asterisk numbers asterisk. Net worth, revenue, profit. A billionaire measures success in asterisk impact asterisk. How many lives touched, how many industries disrupted. How deeply they've embedded themselves into the future, because when your impact scales, your money has no choice but to follow. Now listen carefully, this isn't about becoming a billionaire. It's about understanding the level of thinking required to break limits. Because if you think like a millionaire, you'll aim for comfort. If you think like a billionaire, you'll aim for domination. One builds wealth, the other builds legacy, and legacy doesn't disappear when the money does. So the real question is not, how much money do you want? The real question is, how big are you willing to think? Because your mindset is not just shaping your bank account, it's shaping your ceiling. And most people, they don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they think too small to ever see it. Think bigger, not a little bigger, dangerously bigger.